best things that's happened to the real estate industry is the introduction of professional real estate inspections. A home inspection is a thorough, in-depth examination of the structure and operating parts of the home. A professional real estate inspection benefits all parties involved. For the buyer, a completely objective, thorough inspection of the property they intend to buy by a professional licensed real estate inspector will provide the feeling of security and peace of mind for what may be the investment of a lifetime. An inspection will provide the buyer with a comprehensive written report that will point out the existing condition of the property and apparent major deficiencies. It will address major expenditures that a buyer may encounter during the initial years of owning the home and will suggest helpful maintenance tips to upgrade and maintain their new property. For the seller, having an inspection can actually help the sale of the property because an inspection by a professional ensures full disclosure and helps eliminate any later surprises about the items and systems inspected. And if you're a seller now, it means you're probably going to be a buyer soon. But don't just take my word for it. Let's listen to what some other buyers and sellers have to say about having their homes inspected.
What a thorough home inspection. It was very detailed and it made us feel good about our new home purchase. The added benefit was that we learned preventative maintenance tips to use in our new home.
When we were told the buyer wanted a real estate inspection of our house, I really didn't know what it was. In fact, we were kind of offended. But after it was over, we were glad it was done. Not only did it give the buyer peace of mind about his purchase, but it made us as sellers feel good to confirm our belief that our house was, in fact, a good deal.
Join me on a typical inspection so you can learn what to expect from your inspection. Certified inspectors are highly skilled professionals with in-depth field experience and knowledge of both local and national codes, plus construction methods and materials. Now, even though we're usually hired by the buyer, both the buyer and the seller are invited to accompany us on the inspection. A typical inspection takes anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. We start in the kitchen, walk through the interior of the house, up into the attic, down into the crawl space or basement, out to the garage and exterior, and finally wind up on the roof. We usually set up right here in the kitchen, laying out all the tools that we need to do the job just right. Tools like thermometers and circuit testers, and of course, electronic gas leak detectors to help us find gas leaks in gas appliances or gas shutoff valves. Well, now that we have all the tools to do the job, let's get started. In the kitchen, we like to begin by running all the appliances to make sure that they're working. Then we check to be sure that they're mounted properly and in good repair. And finally, we take a look at those seals and gaskets. Now we're ready, once everything is running, to take a look at the interior of the house. We'll be looking for doors and windows that close and lock properly, thresholds, seals, weather stripping, and screens and windows that are in good repair. Did you know that a foggy window indicates poor seals and therefore a loss of energy? Well, that's why we inspect these things. We look for water stains in places like ceilings, floors, closets, and the insides of cabinets. It's things like this that make us look for other things like this. Plugs near any kind of water, like a bathroom sink or tub, require ground fault circuit interruption protection. The reason for that is if an appliance is connected to that receptacle and dropped into water, the power will immediately shut off. Now that protects everyone in the house from potential electrocution. If you don't have GFCI protection here, we'll look for it at the breaker panel. While at the breaker panel, we'll be checking for the condition of the wire, its type, either copper or aluminum, and we'll make sure that there is the proper size wire on the proper size breaker. And if your home has 3-prong outlets, we'll check to make sure that they're grounded. Next, we'll inspect both the heating and air conditioning for proper installation and to be sure that they're fully operable. Now let's head out to the garage and check the water heater. Here, just off the garage, we have an opportunity to check 2 major systems. First, The heating and air conditioning unit. We'll check to make sure that it's properly installed and operating properly as well. Now, while we're at it, let's check the water heater. Now, this one happens to be gas, so we'll check for gas leaks as well as for proper ventilation. Did you know that improper ventilation can cause premature rusting? Well, it can. Had this been an electrical unit, we would check the wiring as well. Now it's on to the garage, where we'll check the garage door. We'll check it in the forward mode as well as reverse. Now, the attic may not be a place that you frequent often, but it's an important stop on the inspector's visit. We spend a lot of time up here checking for good ventilation and insulation that does its job, keeping the house cool in summer and warm in winter. We'll also take a look at the ductwork to make sure that it's not damaged. You don't want to be spending needless money heating or cooling the attic space. The attic is also where we investigate causes of things that we might have seen elsewhere in the house, like this water stain on the ceiling. Water stains like this could have been caused by leaks in the roof or an area where the flashing around the chimney stacks or plumbing vents have not been properly tucked in. Next stop is the basement. In the basement, we'll check for water penetration like this. And while we're at it, we'll check the sump pump to make certain that it's operable. Well, let's take a look outside next. Now, once we're outside, we'll check for proper grading. We want to make sure that water drains away from the foundation. That also applies to water from gutters. We want to make sure that it's directed away from the house. We'll also check for possible rotting wood on the exterior of the house, and we'll check the foundation for cracks. That's very important. If this were a pier and beam foundation, we'd check for proper ventilation and proper support. And now, the best for last, it's time to look at the roof. We'll look at the overall condition of the roof, and if it's a composition roof, check to see how many layers of roofing there are. We'll take a first-hand look at the flashing around the plumbing vents and chimney stacks to be sure that it's properly tucked in. We'll also note trees overhanging the roof, because the movement of branches can cause holes in the roofing surface later. We couldn't possibly cover all of the things that a certified real estate inspector looks for during the course of an inspection, but we hope we've given you lots of ideas, things that you can look for to help you get ready for your inspection. So you can see, having your home inspected, whether you're the buyer or the seller, greatly increases the probability of a sale, and a secure one at that. Now, these folks just had their home inspected, and I know they're glad they did.